And good evening. Good evening to all. Happy to be here this evening once again for the Mike at Night broadcast. And some of you have been here with us every single week. We are so happy to have you, and we encourage you to keep coming every time that we are on. One of the things we always tell you is to share the live. Share the live. If something is good, don't keep it for yourself. Share it with somebody else. So call somebody, tell them to tune in, send it to them by their WhatsApp, share it on their Facebook, share it on your Facebook, etc., so that we can have people on to get the best benefit for our lives and for the relationships that we have. I want you to be able to do that. If you wish to call, you can call us at 868-688-5363. It's on the screen, so you cannot miss it. If you want to call or send us a WhatsApp, you just let us know and we will take your call once you give us that. Once you, all right? So that is 868-688-5363. All right. So last week we dealt with a blended family. We could talk about that tonight. Let me just say hello to a number of people that we have on. Yep. Denison McIntyre. Yes, Denison logged in very early. Yep, before we started. Jack Day Lutchman. Nice having you. Excellent. Charmin Boyce, always here with us. We value you as a faithful, loyal listener. I see Joan Phillips Spears on from Virginia. Yes. Ah, yes, Joan, you are here from the beginning. You usually come in late, but we know that sometimes you are on the job, so we understand your situation. Rosemary Rampasad Lizama, good evening. Share the live, people. You go and share the live in the meanwhile. Happy Thursday, Lenora Francis Moses. Lyndon Jofield. Thank you very much. Nice, nice, nice. It's so good having all of you all on every week. And some of you all are probably on for the first time. Carolyn Garraway, good evening. If you are on for the first time, just let me know. I want to give you a special shout out because we find you to be our honored guest. It is such a pleasure having you on if you are on for the first time. Deandra Murray, good evening. Good evening to you. You know, we have a nice spread of people from different parts of the Caribbean, United States, and other places, and even some people from the United Kingdom come on every so often. Sometimes they look at the run and message me. Yes. Ah, Tobago Joe is on. Nice, Joe. Good, good. Joe, I'm looking forward for your dance, you know. I'm looking forward for your dance. Don't worry. Sandra Jack. Candice Alexander, Timothy Benjamin, nice, nice. Orville Melville, Davika is also here. Excellent, excellent. All right. So we're going to touch some base. Let's pay some bills. And when we come back, we're talking about the blended family. And we'll explain what the blended family is in just a while. Let's go and take the break and then
Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face to face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868 688 5363 or go to my website www.michaeletstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling.
okay, so welcome back. For those of you who just joined us, this is Mike at Night. We're on a Thursday, every Thursday we are on from 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Let me tell you some of the things that we have coming up. Remember, we had a session and we spoke about some of the struggles people have in relationship. Sex was one of those that came up very prominent. And so I want us to be able to remind you that on the 24th, which is next week, the 24th, we are having a private Zoom discussion, and private from the standpoint that it is not going to be live on Facebook. We're doing it off Facebook. So it is that program that
Hey,
we're
if
going
you
to
are
have a
having
no holds back.
difficulty in your marriage,
There's a form that we ask people to fill out. In that way, people can send their personal questions in advance without feeling embarrassed to have to ask it on the Zoom. So that is the 24th, 8 p.m. And once you register, then we are going to send you the Zoom link. We do not want people entering who were not registered. So if you try to enter and you're not registered and you are not an adult, we are going to remove. Not want it to have people who are not real adults on it. This is the reason why we are not having it Zoom on the Facebook. So right? So, in order to register that, just send me a message on 868-688-5363. The number should be coming up on the screen when we go back off of the flyer. 868-688-5363. Just send me a message, tell me that, and specify which workshop, because sometimes people say, I want to be part of the discussion, I want to be part of the workshop. But I do quite a bit of workshops and programs. So I am not sure which one people are going to. So this one is the free and frank sex talk. Free and frank sex talks. And then we're going to send you the link for you to fill out the registration, etc. And you're going to come on. As long as you're over 80, married, single, doesn't matter, but you want to learn more about sex, we have two wonderful people uh, that would be chatting with us on that. The Davids, Mr. and Mrs., brother and sister David, they are going to share with us their best knowledge as to the issues of sex. There are some things that we really don't talk about. But what about if there's a position that you feel comfortable? Frequency of sex might be too much for one partner while the next partner thinks that they are starving. So many things. There's a routine. It is not engaging. So on. So all of that we'll be able to talk about. Some people health not able to carry the sex as regularly as they would like. So we want to really ventilate from 24th. 24th is what day? 24th, I think it's a Friday. Is it a Friday or Saturday? It's a Friday. All right. So you got to get home early enough, put the children to bed. Let's have this great talk. All right. Good evening, Alice, John, Bernadette, Adams. Nice having you all. Share the live, people. We're going to go. So let's start and talk about the blended family. We spoke last week and we said the blended family it has become the order of the day. It is more the norm to be in a blended family today than it is to be in your family of origin. Your family of origin is that your mother and father, biological mother and father, and their children would be that family of origin. Over the years, because there have been so many breakups and changes of family for one reason or the other, and not all the time that is because people just jumping out of relationships. I don't want you to think that. I want you to recognize that there are sometimes people are married and one of the spouse may die, but there are children that may have been in that original marriage, and that person remarries and they go into a new family with those children. That is what a blended family is. That you are now in a situation where you have stepchildren, if you want to call it that way. So one or both of the parents have children, but not all the children are for the two parents that are in that relationship. Got it? Right. So most of you and myself grew up in blended family. So my mother was married twice. She had three boys and one girl. And then the second time she married again, she had three boys and one girl. But all eight of us living in this one house with this second gentleman, who this one was my father. And so the others who had three boys and one girl would have been for a previous father. But we grew up there. So there were some issues that go down there in the family, and there are some things that went down quite well. In fact, I think ours may have been one of the model types because as growing up in boys, all of my brothers I would tell you, and my sister would tell you that we did not recognize that the other boys and the girl, remember three boys, one girl, first marriage, three boys, one girl, and the second marriage. We were not aware that the first three boys and one girl were not our biological brothers and sisters. Why? Because we never saw a difference in the way that they were treated by our father nor our mother. So we thought it when we became grown men and women that we were now told this is not your biology. In fact, so much so that my father, who's not the father for the first set, when they were of age to drive and they wanted to borrow the car, I remember my mother saying no and denying them. But my father felt that they should have it in order to go to whatever event it was. And I remember seeing my father sneaking by the window and calling them from downstairs and dropping the key to them downstairs for them to take the car, his car, and go. These are not his children. So when we saw that kind of behavior, we never could have thought that this is not even his children. Yes, sir? So some of you can tell and can relate because some of you grew up as stepchildren in some wonderful homes where there was equity, there was consensus, and there's consideration. Some children would tell you that their stepfather or stepmother treated them better than their old biological father or biological. All you doubt me on that. Not so? All you tell me. Unfortunately, there are some stepchildren who did not have that good experience. It was not a very nice one. We spoke about those last week, so we're not going to go over them again. So, what we want to do is blended families, how to make it work. Because many of them not working because they would give you stories of being treated wrong and there's inequity between the children from this marriage and children from how they feel when they were not part of that. So let's talk about how to make it. Okay? If you have any questions, please post it on the page so that I could recognize it and probably address them. Good evening, Maudlin, Wendy Norton. Nice having you all. Alice John, yeah? Nice. Share the live. All right, so here we go. So, one of the things that if let's take from people who are not yet married, but you already have children, but you are courting with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or you don't have children, but the boyfriend or the girlfriend has, or vice versa. If you are serious and getting into a relationship that is aiming towards marriage, and the children of a certain age that they can be able to understand, I want to strongly suggest that you sit that child, the biological mother or father, sit with that child and explain to the child what is happening. That a new man, new woman is going to come into your life. This is a parent. Let them know this is not replacing your biological father or mother. Forget about your own issue that you have with the poor fella or with a woman. This is not for you. This is for the child's in. Let them know that a new father or mother, another father or mother, is going to come in and you want them to be able to connect and to be able to link and so on. Start doing the linkage before you even get married. Because let me tell you, some of the children blame themselves for why the parents got separated in the first place. And some children consider that if this new man didn't come on the scene or this new woman did not come on the scene, my mother would have gone back to my father. or my father would have gone back to my mother. So they go through that. They don't understand what is going on. So remember, when you start a new family or you get married and you get into a new family, the children had no input on it, or the children had no decision to make in it. They just land up in this new situation. So one must consider what they may be going through in the. Do not take it for granted that the children are just following along. Sometimes it has some subliminal, underhanded, covert undertones that the children going through, because they may not be understanding. Depending on the age. If it is young, they may be blaming them. But you may find that the child is a teenager and you're now getting into a new marriage. They don't want you to bring a new person to give them rules and instructions. They may very well resist somebody trying to now tell them to do this, do that, or don't go here, don't go there, and the person is not their parent. You don't want that issue to land upon you. So have a talk, sit down, chat, right, and explain to them. Get from them how they feel so that you'll have an idea. So do you all agree with what I'm saying? Let me know if you're agreeing with what I'm saying, which is sounding reasonable. Because we do have some parents that say children must be seen and not heard. So it's not their business. It's my man or it's my woman, and they have to just fall in line. Let me know if you agree with what I'm saying. So I'm saying that you have a little chat and you make the connection. Could I suggest that, let's say the man is the one who's coming to meet the woman's child? I want to suggest that you try and make a relationship with that child. You're not bribing the child, but you can't be in love with the mother and not want to connect. Not going to work. That is going to have down the road impact on your very relationship that you so much say, well, it's me and she is not me and the child. You've got to include them, take the whole package. If you do not want the whole package of the mother and the mother's child or children, walk. You hear me? Just don't go there. But do not go there and try to separate them, because there are some relationships that when they are blended, the mother feels or the father feels pressure and disconnect from their own child in order to preserve the relationship of this new marriage or this new. It is unfair to the child. Right? So I hope you all getting me. Yeah. So it is unfair to the child. Some of you out there in the social media now may also be unmarried and with children, or you may be in a relationship and you are understanding what I'm saying about having to be blended into this. I want to know, and you'll answer me. Those of you who have been in blended families, either as a child growing up, or if you have, since you are in as an adult and you have started your own family in a blended family and relationship, did you sit down with your children and talk to them privately? And if you grew up in a family that is blended, did anybody sit down with you and speak to you? I want you to answer me on the line. Let me see what that looks like. Right? Did anybody chat with you about a blended family? Yeah. All right. So let me remind you to share the live. I know that for those of you in Trinidad and Tobago, you all are getting ready, especially in Trinidad, for your carnival. Yep. But you know, we've got things to do. We've got people to help. We've got relationships to mend. We've got families to secure. We've got to just continue. All right. So let me know if you've had that talk or anybody had that talk with. I will admit nobody had the talk with. Secondly, as parents, try to get the relationship between the siblings, the half brother, the half sisters, if you want to call it. I don't like that phrase, but between the siblings to go right. I remember we had a cousin came to live with, not one of my brother's cousins, and was living with us for a number of years. And as a little child, I remember getting very angry at something he said, what it was. And I said, I don't know why you don't go back home. Nobody don't want you. I said that. I regret saying it, especially as a man, adult, and I realized that was. And she hit me very hard. Never seen her that angry. Never seen, felt, um, never been able to understand the pain that she would have felt from me having to say that inappropriate, hurtful thing. And I did it, I said it actually to hurt her because of the dispute that we. But could you imagine what that would have done to her? Could you imagine that you are living by people, technically, and they, some people feel as though they're begging a lodging. She has not, it made her feel as though she is not integrated into the family. And I want to suggest to people who are in these situations, be very conscious of that in the blended family. It is when my mother sat down and spoke to me and told me how would I feel. Because as a child, I didn't look at it from how would I feel if I had to be living home by someone. They tell you, I don't know why you don't go back home. Nobody wants. Yeah, that put a whole new spin on things. But we had a mother who would set us straight with that. But what about those children who have that argument and no parent is there to set it straight and to be able to come to the rescue of my cousin as my mother did? So then, after she explained to me, she asked me to go back and apologize. I went and apologized. We hugged, we mended. We've never had an issue. Now, years later, she is a well loved. Maudlin said my stepdad was perfect with me until he passed away. But after he passed, some of my siblings now treating me as an outsider. I want to talk to that, Maudlin. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to hear that you went through that, and that's an unfortunate situation. So some of my siblings now treating me as an outsider, although we were all raised at one. It makes me feel sad. And now she's missing her stepfather terribly. Yeah. You understand? Now, Madeline is a grown woman with children. I don't know if she has grandchildren. Madeline, you have grandchildren? I know she has children, lovely children. But um, that still rests on her heart. So sometimes because the biological parent passes away, there is we ostracize the brother or sister that we consider half because we never did really integrate. It was never really solid that we consider this person our brother or our sister. Probably we should get rid of that phrase half brother because we never had it. We only knew it was my brother or my sister. The difference in height, I'm 5'4". I come from a short batch. But the first set of children that my mother made, a tall batch. So people will always ask because they'll see us operating like one and we'll introduce each other. Oh, this is my brother. We never said half brother. We never said step brother. Because one, we didn't know it, and two, by the time we knew it, we had already become very comfortable with this brother thing. And they say, but how come one tall and one short and they so tall? That's how people had to tell. Yeah. So I want to thank God for all you stepfathers, all you mothers and fathers who are rearing children that are not yours, treating them nice. Wonderful. Share your experiences if you want on Facebook. Let me get it and share the life. So when you come into this, as we said, have a talk, and then two, as parents, manage that sibling issue there, just as my mother managed it. Be very on top of it. If you let that run for too long, a dagger is put in the family that you may not be able to withdraw when you're ready. The parent of the child that says the inappropriate thing or tries to take advantage of the other child need to step in and make it clear, this is your brother, your sister. I want you to treat your brother or your sister with respect and regard. Once that child recognizes that his or her own father, this is not for the stepmother to come in and rectify. This is for the own father to come in and say that. It reassures the mother or the father of the other side that I have your back and we are doing this thing together. I'm playing my role to be able to show up the family in this way. But it also sends a signal to the child that that with disrespect would not be tolerated and that the father is fully invested or the mother is fully invested in this relationship and this family. Anytime the person who is the father of the errant child remains silent, you are giving support and consent to the child to continue behaving the way they are. So you need to be able to speak up and let the child know it is inappropriate, it is wrong. Thank you for doing for coming in. Yes, some of you are using Eastern time and all kind of. Now it is 7:28, 8:28. Sorry, this side of the world. All right, so come in and make sure that you support the parent. Don't let the child disrespect the sibling of the other side. Also, don't let the child disrespect the other parent also. So if you are the mother or father and your child disrespects the other parent, you need to be able to put your foot down on that and ask the person, ask that child to give due respect and regard to the other parent as they would give it to you. Don't leave it for the other person to do it because you don't want to put them into a heat position. Yeah. This morning, two girl children and three grandchildren. Modeling, you ain't easy. I know you're up there, and I wouldn't want them to go through what I went through at all. Yeah, it's not easy. It is not easy. I'm telling you. All right. So, if there's any question, post it in the chat. Let's deal with it. Beatrice, you're late. Right. Okay. So, in this family, there's going to be need for adjustments. We need to adjust to where we operate. Because it is a blended family, some of the children are going back to the other parent on weekends at different times. So now the poor child has two different rules, different methods of running a family. So when the child is here, the child can stay up late. But when the child is at the next family, the child has to go to bed early, or vice versa. What do you do? Well, I want to tell you, if you're in a blended family and they, let's say, um, your child is to go and visit the other parent, the other biological parent in the other family. Hope you all, I'm not tying you all up, getting you all mixed up. The child is to go because the other parent has um, rights to access child and is on the week. But you recognize that there are things that you don't permit home by you or that you permit home by you. But when they go by the other biological parent, the same doesn't apply. Let me tell you, parent, you do not rule the other person's home. You may not like what is taking place there, but you don't rule it. So you can't tell the child, don't do it if you're going by them. So, for example, you might find that the child wants to stay up late. Right, but you have the child all week. But the child is not by the other parent. The child wants to stay up late. And that other parent allowing them to stay up late. Don't call the other parent and berate them. Don't tell the child and give the child a good warning. Don't let me call at 8 o'clock and you're still up here. Recognize that it is not your home. So don't put down rules and laws there. The child has what you do not have. The child is living under two different rules. You see? In the next home, the child may be required to wash dishes. Home by you, you may not require that. Don't ask the child not to do it. You're a child. Don't let him tell you not to do it, or don't let him tell you to wash anywhere else. No, 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 don't do that. Yes? So it is important that as parents, in order for this blended family to work, stay in your lane. Know your limitations. If, however, something is happening that is cardinally wrong with inside of the other family, but that is a different thing. For example, you might find that in your home there's no smoking, in the next home they're smoking marijuana. And you would find that that would affect the child because we know that children who inhale some of these drugs while their brain is still developing is going to affect them much more than an adult who inhales the same smoke. So you may want to be able to say something that would put some limit on what that next family does. But you don't pass it through the child, you pass it to the parent. Go to the parent and tell the parent, listen, I understand that smoke, smoke across there in the interest of our child. Could you not smoke around the child? The child is work it out. Try as much as possible to find an amicable way. But just don't barge in there and start giving rules as to how things are supposed to happen. We've seen that's what happens. Right? Yes. Glenda said this is hard. It is. It is. So consider this. Consider it. I heard somebody put it this way. I think it's a psychologist. Put it this way. Consider the blended family, even though we use the word blended, but don't consider it to be as a blender. You know that pasteurizer or blender that you have in your house? Don't consider it to be a blender. You see, a blender, you put things in it and you turn the blender on and it just mixes up everything, cut it up and so on. When it is finished, you can't tell what was it original. It just cuts up everything and just mix them all together. That's a blender. So probably blended family is not the best fit. This person said, consider it as a crock pot. I'm not very good in the kitchen, but from my understanding of a crock pot, A crock pot will heat um, vegetables, let's say, over a period of time, probably give it a slow heat. But in the end, when it is finished, the carrot is a carrot inside of it. The potato is still a potato inside of there. Each of them releasing their various flavors in the same. And we are saying, make your blended family crock pot blender, where the person lose themselves, where the person cannot know who they are because it is just all mashed up inside of here and all crushed up. Make it a crock pot that you can be able to see the carrot and understand that carrot is soft enough. Carrot fits into the crock pot. The carrot lets out its own juices, etc. And we work along in this um, context and environment. Okay, so I just felt that was a good illustration that the person gave. All right, people, make sure, as we say, share the live. We're going to take a break in just a while. Let me probably give you another one to help you to make that relationship work. And I want to say, just before we go to the break, that don't make the issue of your ex become an issue in your new. Some people, because they are so angry, they have to keep in this to their new husband or their new wife and talk about what that person did them, how that person hurt them, or even if the person treated them nice and you had left for one reason or the other. You don't necessarily need to repeat that every time to this new marriage. Even if the person had died, the new husband or wife doesn't want you to be keep saying, when so and so was alive and so on. No, it seems as though you have not moved on and have not overcome and so on, and they feel a bit. I think that's my view. But probably I'll ask you to answer that while we go to the break. Do you think that it is appropriate to be talking about your ex in your new relationship, whether it is good or it is bad? But every time so and so never used to do it this way, so and so he would have done this or she would have done this or they would have helped me out here, or this person we used to do this, or this person treated me this way and I hated it, and so on, and you starting to behave that way. Is it appropriate? That's the question. Is it appropriate to keep repeating things of your ex in your new relationship? So when we come back, we're gonna take it from there. Right, we're gonna take the break, but you answer on the Facebook in the meanwhile. Thank you very much.
Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face to face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868 688 5363 or go to my website www.michaeletstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling.
All right, so let me tell you, we do have that exciting Zoom session on the 24th. You've got to register for it, but you need to send me a message. This one is free and frank sex talk. It is also free to attend. It's on Zoom on the 24th of February, 8 p.m. So it's a Friday, so you need to get home early enough to be able to settle down and give a listen. So these wonderful people, Ronald and Lisa David, going to be chatting with us, and they're going to be answering your questions as frank as they can. And in registering, you can put your very sensitive questions inside of the registration. And the registration, I don't think I can't think we have named anything, but your information will remain private. That's for sure. All right. So that's on the 24th, 8 p.m. Once you register, the Zoom link will be sent to you. To register, you register by sending me a message and telling me which program it is. Free and Frank Sextor, 868-688-53. All right. Okay, now we're back now. Where are we? Yes. We're talking about I had asked you, is it appropriate to keep repeating about your ex? Whether it is good or bad. Sometimes, the person hurt you. And every time you have to say, you know, that is how so and so used to talk to me. And I ain't want to talk to me, so and you keep referring to so and so. Or this person did this, or this person hurt me in this way. Or sometimes you keep repeating something that is good about the person. They used to cook. This is nice. This tastes like my ex. This tastes like my deceased husband. It tastes like my deceased wife. Is it appropriate? So let me see what you have said. Bernadette says, nope, disrespectful. You can't even mince words with that. Bernadette, you just come straight to the. Lenora say it is unkind and inappropriate. Doreen said the time has gone. Move on. The parent should have a conversation for the child's welfare. I had and still have an excellent relationship with my ex-husband. Well, you see, that's good. When my daughter cannot reach her father, she calls me. There you go. He and I often have good laughs. He said he thought he was calling for money. He calls her the bill collector. All right. Orville said it is inappropriate. It is not appropriate to compare. Glenda said it is disrespectful. Okay. Maureen said she has a stepson that comes into the relationship with a child. I regard as my son even today. Nobody talked with me about anything, but my children know that their brother is also my son. Right? Nice. Mhm. All right. Not a good practice, the answer. All right. So let's continue now. We're talking about how to make blended families. Just joined us. Blended families really is family that the two parents join into one new family, but they already have children. One or two of them, or both of them, sorry, already have children. All right. So we shared something. If you want this thing to work, don't send messages to your children indirectly. You say something so that they will go home and repeat, which is really your message to the next parent. Yeah? So you're telling the child that um is, let's say that it is concerning the maintenance, that your mother come in court for maintenance, and this month I don't know where I getting money from. Now, when you tell the child that, you're hoping that the child goes home and tell the mother so that they would know that the maintenance money was in trouble. Your children don't have anything to do with that. Don't pressure them with that. Don't give them that guilt trip at all, because it bothers them. I had a 9-year-old boy. This 9-year-old boy kept being suspended from rape. So the mother brought him in and says he was doing good. but he is um he's bothered by the fact that he's suspended at 9 years old. Disruptive. So I decided to have a private chat with the young man while his mother's on the outside. And the young man is explaining to me after we sat down and we spoke and so on. He opened up and he says to me that he admits he gets suspended from school, he's disruptive, and so on. But when I found out, I realized that the young man said that he's angry that his mother took his father to court. And that was more or less his way of punishing her would be bad. So I said, if is there anything else that is bothering him? He says, well, the mother doesn't allow him to go by the father. That says that he's not a good father and she don't go there. What we call parental alienation. You are separating and alienating a child from the parent. And this is what this mother apparently may have been told. So we had a chat. So there are two things. Fact that the mother is taking the boy to court because the boy does not understand in order for him to be maintained. The mother may have been pushed with no other choice but to take him to court for his own support. Because the child doesn't understand all of that. There's no need for me to explain it to him. That's something for them to do. And then the father, who would not, who he wants to visit, but the mother wouldn't allow him. So then I spoke with the mother privately now. Well, before I did that, I asked the boy if we could get your mother to agree to let you go and meet your father on a regular basis. Would you promise me that you will not be put yourself in a position to be suspended from school? Promise me faithfully. Right? So I met with the mother. When I spoke with the mother, having heard what was happening with the child, the mother agreed on her own. She says she's going to go up the court matter community. She took a, I mean, she made a big sacrifice there in the interest of the boy. And she also agreed that she will allow him to go and visit. So they asked me to make the call. I made the call to the father and I spoke with the father. I don't know the father, never saw the father, we probably never met each other at all. I explained to him what the situation was, why was. The father says, yeah, happy for that, and he'll take the boy and they'll connect. It was some months later, probably near a year later, I met the mother again. I said, how is the young man going? He said, Mrs. Stewart, that boy has never been suspended again. This was happening. He was suspended from school almost every week prior to that. Now he's not. You see how these things affect these? I just want you to know. It does. So his disruption, his way of. All right, people. Where are we now? 7:49. So we have about 10 more minutes. Yep. If you all wish, you could call me, 868-688-5363. 868-688-5363. If you want to share, you want to give your own feedback on it. I'm hoping that it would also help you to help somebody else. Because there are some families struggling with this thing so much. All right, so let's go on to another one. When there are issues with the children, and I'm talking to the parents, don't talk it in front of the children, please. I'm not going to private place. Don't raise it in front of the children. Don't argue about family issues in front of the children. Don't talk about what the child did and how you find that is the mother who encouraging that, is the father who caused that, and letting the child hear that. Go in your closet, close the door, turn the light, to talk it out. And then when you are finished, come back out and talk to the child. Do not allow yourself to be arguing in front of children about matters. And certainly do not go to a child to get a child's opinion on an adult parental matter to see whether the child agrees with you or not. What you are doing, you are putting the child under unnecessary and hurtful pressure. Who will the child answer in favor of? But it's just the truth I want. Yes. But in order to say the truth, the child has to say something that the child might feel, I am going against my mother, I'm going against my father. A child should not have that adjudication to make. And don't ask the child who your father was liming with down the road. Don't get into that. That's not a child's business. You are messing up the child's head. Leave that alone. If you want to know who he liming with, jump in your car and go and take a taxi and go and find out yourself. But do not ask the child to bring stories and bring news. When the child goes to visit the other parent and and that other parent is in a relationship with somebody else, go ask the child about what's going on in the house and what the woman, what he woman doing. Don't ask that. Yeah, stay out of that. Right. So those things, it would help you to create a situation where this situation works. Don't do that. If you want to be able to find out something, make a call to the person. WhatsApp the person. Call a truce and you all discuss something and not allow yourselves caught up in this matter where the child has to make an adjudication between, right? Um, don't talk to children about what's going on in the family that is not one that they need to hear about. The issues that going on between you and your husband or you and your wife, that even if you felt that the mother was unfair in something that she did, or the father was unfair in some punishment he exacted out on the child, just don't deal with that with it. That's why they invented bedrooms. Go and use it. Close the door and all the talk. Right. So we're down to 6 minutes. Let me see if I could get some things out here. Um, I'll team up with the other parent. That is going to help you in the co-parenting. Drop some issues. You see, I know that because some relationships separate with such hurt and pain, there are people sworn they will never talk to the next person properly again. They will never get in back a relationship. Every time they have to talk, they have to talk under hostile circumstances. And some of these parents, trust me, you're supposed to, the child may supposed to go to another parent this week. That parent tries to come up with an excuse why the child can't go. Child looking forward to it, try to come up with an excuse. Um, or whenever they have to talk about the child, bring back the child by so and so, or don't let the child catch cold. So we give all of those hostile instructions, and the child is watching that. That's not a good atmosphere. That's a toxic atmosphere for a child. Drop that. You're already separated. Bring the tenor down and start by treating that parent, that other parent, good, even though that parent doesn't deserve you. It's bigger than the parent, it's bigger than you. This is for your children's sake. A lot of children growing up with mental and emotional issues brought on through no fault of their own, but by selfish parents who only think about their own circumstances, don't recognize the impact it is having children. They grow up to be adults with problems, emotional and other. All right. So, um, let me just deal with one more, and then we that should take us down to the end. Yes, yes, Joan. If the parents have children, they should communicate. It's adults. What prevents you from sitting down and talking? Yeah, I know of a gentleman. You understand? I went home by him. He and his divorced wife. His wife was a hairdresser. So he is by his divorced wife having his hair plait. So I said, both of you all back together? He said, no. He said, whenever I want my hair plait, she has tell me come over and she has plait me hair. And she tell me anytime she want gas for the stove run out, she'll run and get it. Them good as ever. You'll swear that they are back in a relationship, you know. They just know their boundary. But they have a child together. But the child does not get into all of those issues that they have them good. You understand? Ah, yes. Everybody had pain. That is why we stopped the relationship. Because there's a painful experience. But we don't have to make a painful experience burn us down. It doesn't have to burn down our house. Yeah, Joan said she liked that. Yeah. But let me tell you, I have some good, well balanced people outside of there. You know. Let me tell you another story of somebody who I know. The man is now living with the woman. He has children that is kept by the woman he's no longer with. But the woman he's with now insist on him, when you make your money at the end of the week, fortnight, month, give it to me. And she gets it. And she takes the children's money and gives it to the mother of the children that he has with him. He's saying she's not encouraging that. She's not encouraging him not to give her just because he started this new relationship here and he has children here. She says you owe it to her. You understand? That is woman. It doesn't have to be as how we just make it out to be. This co-parenting thing could work. That's what Joan was saying. That's how she is. Um, Denison said, I live by my motto. We pick up in a friendship and we end in a friendship. That's right. There's no need to end as enemies. Denison, I'm happy you mentioned that. That takes a certain psyche, you know. That takes a certain amount of self awareness, comfort with who you are. So end a relationship as friends. Oh, look, we run out of time now. Yeah. Don't, my ex-husband came to fix my washing machine. His girlfriend was mad and he told her his kids live there. All right. You understand? No, you can't do that. Because if you alienate a man or a woman from his own children, then you are breaking a bond. And what makes you think that he's going to be faithful to you or loyal to you or she loyal to you? No, don't do that. Yeah. Did not you say we do a party? uh, we have so many other topics to talk to go on to, but we could bring it back at some other point lower down. All right. So, all right. Now I know that there are some people messaging me now that they're now seeing the flyer that we sent out. I would apologize because what happened is that I was so busy today that I only sent out the notices this late this afternoon, close to this evening. So many people did not see. Um, I would correct that by sending it out early. Okay. So that brings us down to the end of the program today. As usual, I enjoyed myself and I enjoyed your company. I hope you enjoyed my company. I that we had a wonderful time, and I hope most of all that I brought value to your life. I hope also that you are now in a better position to make decisions in your own life or to understand your own circumstance and also to impact somebody else. Because that's what life is all. I want us to be able to always bring. If it does not bring value to people, then it makes no. Yeah. So thank you very much, my good people. Jonah, looking forward to seeing you back here. Yeah, I missed you the last time. I find you ducking in and ducking out. All right. So people, God bless you. I want to thank Sidney Jones for his usual excellent and professional management of this program. And God have a wonderful people. I'm Michael Stewart, and I next week 8 o'clock. Join us early for Mike at night at 8. Ciao.
Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face to face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868 688 5363 or go to my website www.michaeletstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling.